There's this new sound just exploding out of Mexico. It's gritty, it's super controversial, and it's deeply tied to the country's criminal underworld. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of its most mysterious and, frankly, dangerous figures, El Makabelico.
They want me dead. Negative. That one line right there from his biggest hit, it captures everything. The defiant, dangerous spirit of narco rap. It's this genre that's totally blurring the lines between what's popular music and what's organized crime. So in this explainer, here's what we'll do. We'll meet one of the genre's biggest anonymous stars, we're going to decode the hidden language in his most famous song, and then explore the very real consequences when lyrics and life collide.
You see, for decades, narco culture had its own soundtrack. They were called corridos, kind of like these traditional folk ballads telling stories about traffickers. But something's changing, big time. The sound is evolving, and it's not staying in the shadows anymore. It is finding its way right into the mainstream.
And this is a really crucial shift. By blending that old school storytelling with modern rap and these, urban aesthetics, this new wave of artists is making the narco lifestyle seem way more accessible, maybe even appealing. And because of that, it's reaching a much, much broader audience than ever before.
Right at the center of this new wave is this one figure, known only by his alias, El Makabelico. He's a rapper who stays completely anonymous, but his voice is just everywhere. And depending on who you ask, he's either a kind of folk hero or a straight-up public enemy.
And this is really the core conflict around him. On the one hand, you have official reports labeling him a terrorist with direct ties to the Cartel del Noreste. But then you listen to his lyrics, and he paints this completely different picture. He calls himself the good one, someone who's generous, someone who provides work. It's like he's a man of two identities living in one single, incredibly dangerous reality.
So how does this actually play out in his music? Well, let's dive in. We're going to break down his biggest hit, El Max Mis Gafas de Sol. That translates to Max My Sunglasses. And as you're about to see, this song is so much more than just music. It's pretty much a manual for a life on the run.
So the chorus repeats this line over and over, with my sunglasses calm. Sounds simple, right? Almost casual. But in the world of a trafficker, what could that possibly mean? Why are sunglasses so important?
Okay, so here's the secret. The sunglasses are a code. According to our sources, putting them on is a signal that means one thing. The police are here. It means it's time to blend in, act like a tourist, and just walk away before a deal goes bad. The song is literally a guide to evading capture.
And this whole theme of anonymity is just so crucial. He raps, "In anonymity, you can breathe so well. They only know my nickname. They can't even imagine my face." Think about that. That's the core of his power, right? He's famous enough to command respect, but he's anonymous enough to live freely, right under the noses of the authorities.
And let's be clear, this is not just abstract poetry. The lyrics are packed with specific, violent details. He mentions the 5.7 pistol, often called the cop killer, bullets with purple tips, stake trucks for moving illicit goods, automatic weapons, and even 18-wheelers to run product all the way up to Los Angeles. This is the hardware of the trade, all laid out for everyone to hear.
Now, as fascinating as this one song is, it's really part of a much larger cultural shift. This isn't happening in a vacuum. It's the latest step in the evolution of an entire genre. You can just see the progression so clearly. It started with the rustic, guitar-driven corridos, which were like old folk tales. Then came the urban infusion, where artists like El Makabelico brought in the heavy bass, the sharp snares, and that unapologetic attitude of modern rap. And the final step? It becomes a mainstream phenomenon, breaking out of its regional niche and capturing a global audience.
So, what is this music selling? It's a glorified vision of a lifestyle that's built on criminal loyalty, extreme luxury, and brutal violence. And, as our sources make very clear, this includes direct references to trafficking deadly drugs like fentanyl.
So this brings us to our final and maybe our most important section. This isn't just a cultural phenomenon. This music has tangible, real-world consequences, and the authorities are definitely starting to push back.
This is where art collides head-on with the law. The U.S. government is not treating this as just music. No way. They've imposed serious legal sanctions on artists like El Makabelico and their associates for their alleged ties to drug cartels and for acting as frontmen for their operations.
And the fallout is severe. These aren't just slaps on the wrist. U.S. Treasury sanctions can freeze a person's entire financial life, just cutting them off from banks and any legitimate business. There are active allegations of using music to launder illicit cash.
And it's not just the artists. Music executives have been put in prison simply for doing business with these sanctioned individuals. The stakes are incredibly high for everyone in this world.
So we're left with a really challenging question. When a song is both a top hit and a potential manual for criminal activity, when an artist is both a celebrity and an accused terrorist, where do you draw the line? When music so closely mirrors a violent reality, where does art end and crime begin?